Hello, everyone, and welcome. And yes, Amy, you are paired perfectly. It looks excellent. I like the hey, okay, here we go.
It's working so far.
It's working beautifully. We have so many, and I saw one person was going to work, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But at least you joined us for a bit. Maybe we'll keep you company for your ride. So excited. We have the amazing Amy Rysavy here, and she is from Prairie Paper and Ink. In case some people know the moniker better than they know the real name of the person. Yep. So like to give those both out there. Welcome, Amy.
Yay. Yeah. I've got too many screens going on. I'm like, so yeah, if I'm looking off, I'm looking at Bridget over here and cameras. Yeah, I'm
looking at questions away. I'm not ignoring Amy or you guys. I'm just looking at questions because I kind of know the questions, but and we got to throw a few trick questions in, right, guys? Because she practiced Z, so we got to throw a few trick ones in there. So we are so excited. This is our first retreat ever with Amy, and we are so excited that you are able to join us. It makes it extra special. We have two new folks this time. We have Kathy Zielski and we have Amy here. So they were having fun the other day to start off the retreat. Yep. Now, so if somebody hasn't been to your channel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mother to many, master of none, like always. And yeah, I have been... Well, first off, Prairie Paper and Ink. I get asked that a lot. They're like, what? Back in the day, in the dark ages, you didn't use your name for anything ever. So I was like, what am I going to call my blog? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not even joking. It took me 3 days. 3 days. I was like, what am I supposed to like? And then I was like, well, I live on the prairies. I play with paper and ink. So Prairie Paper and Ink. Nowadays, we just go by our names because that went by the wayside when people started shifting a few years ago and it's just your name. And I was like, dude, I put a lot of effort behind Prairie Paper and Ink. I'm keeping it. So yeah, I've been card making for just over 20 years now. Yeah. Card making for over 20 years, blogging for almost that length of time. And then the whole YouTube thing, it's been 15 years? Something like that. It's been a long time.
We don't old. Like math.
Yeah, no math, no fun. And especially when you start thinking like back like that far, I'm like, no.
Mine has a 3 in front of it, so it's terrifying. And you used to design stamps as well. So not only a paper crafter, but you've also designed stamps, you've been design teams, you've kind of done it all, so to speak.
Yeah, just like I wear many hats, I do many things, and I don't really master any of them. I'm just like, on to the next thing. Whatever.
I think we would disagree a little bit because in the comments I'm seeing too that love the work and the card making. Now, what kind of style can folks kind of expect from you at the retreat if they haven't seen your work before?
Oh man. From the retreat, it'll be slightly maybe more restrained to a degree, although I've already been thinking, like, since I've seen, like, when I was first shown what's in the kit, and I was just like, splatter, splatter. All like, I just immediately, my brain was like, how am I going to incorporate like everything, you know? But yeah, I do tend to just jump around with so many things. So I haven't even decided what will be part of my class because I was like, oh, I could do ink blending, I could do watercoloring, I could, like all the things. It'll probably be many things.
And that's the thing is I know and we also, if you love Amy and you missed it, we have a podcast with Amy where we had some really good chuckles. If you want to get to know Amy better, it's on the Craft Your Life podcast. Lots and lots of good laughs. And you kind of defined yourself that as you are everything but the kitchen sink. Like it's got to have a little of this, a little of that. It's like that perfect secret recipe almost, where you just kind of toss in a dash of this and a dash of that until you get your perfect card that you love so much.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like it's to the point now, if I don't add splatter, I literally get comments about it, like, are you okay? You know, like blink twice, that sort of thing. If I do clean and simple, which I don't do very often, same thing. People are just like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'll like it too. I just trust me, I'll make up for it next time. I'll put like 13 things on this card and have an absolute just disaster go. I'm like, yeah. It's just how I roll.
And in case you guys didn't know, it's October 12th. We go from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We have 6 amazing instructors. We have Amy, we have Kathy Zielski, we have Christina Werner, Jennifer McGuire, JC Gaspar, and Carissa Wiley. So it will be an amazing day. If you can't make it, these are recorded. What will happen is Amy will come in, she'll introduce herself in her class, and then she'll teach, and a moderator will ask any questions you have. You can ask Amy. So it could be about the card she's doing. It could be her favorite type of dog. You can ask any burning questions, and feel free to ask them here today. If you have some burning questions for Amy that you would like to ask, please feel free to, and we'll catch those in the comments. I love that, Barb. Amy is like the crafty neighbor you wished lived next door. It is. And virtually it feels like you do, like you're just always in the little box making
That's
something
good.
beautiful.
No
So
one would want to live next to me, I think, so like in actual real life. But virtually, totes. We're good. But yeah, you don't want to catch me on a morning when I'm taking out the garbage in my slippers and my hair's like up and I am just ready to murder everyone inside,
that sounds like me.
Yeah.
I'm just not, yeah. I haven't had the coffee yet. It's kind of ugly. It's just not good. It's not good. No.
Me in mornings, not pretty, not good. As my actual neighbors, I'm sure, can attest. When I'm like running out the door because we're late, and then I realize I have my slippers on, and it's the middle of the winter, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah.
Kathy, you do get to craft with her. If you come to the retreat, you get to craft with Amy, and that's the great thing. Is it almost feels like, in a way, like you're getting that special instruction. So like YouTube, it's just a video where they're kind of talking towards you. I don't like to say at you, that sounds aggressive, but towards you, and teaching you something. But this, you can actually, interact. And so it's kind of like your own private lesson with these amazing instructors. Oh, Barb said, uh-oh, you must have seen me somehow. There's a group of us that are apparently a little sketchy in the mornings when we go outside. So coffee, Keisha is correct. Coffee is the magic potion of the morning. Yes. Yeah. I have coffee before something I can't even remember. I didn't have my coffee today. So coffee before people, I think, is what it says. So it's a good thing. Oh, goodness. Sounds like me. We can kill together. Oh, goodness. I don't know. This took a dark turn.
You just get that urge, man,
Wait, this took a dark
and I've talked about that in my lives. I was like, I know there's like a big overlap now with like the true crime girlies and our crafters. And I was like, some of y'all are dark.
A lot of us like the true crime. I don't know what it is. There is a huge overlap. I've noticed that as well.
I get a kick out of it. I really do. I'm like, yeah, and especially, and then we're creative. So it's like when you need to hide a body, maybe us a crafter. You never know.
We are crafty.
Yep.
So Dawn, this is the Cozy Comfort. This is the holiday retreat. This year, it's got a fall vibe, which I think is so cool. Now, are you, because you have beautiful foliage where you are as well. So are you a fall kind of gal? I know,
Oh yeah.
is it the spice pumpkin lattes, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember those. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember from watching your channel that those are life. Like,
They are. Not as much. Well, I still have to get at least one from, Starbucks.
yeah.
And then I prefer just to make my own because I'm just like the sugar rush is awful. But you just get that fix. And fall. We don't have as nice foliage here to a degree. I swear now we get like a week. It's
It
like
goes
hot
fast.
as hell. And then a week of like that fall and things turn. And then winter hits. I'm just like, dude.
And winter seems to stick.
Oh,
Like, fall, summer, spring, like super turbo speed, and then we get winter. So
Yep.
now looking at the kit, because it's got like the fall vibe, got the pumpkins and kind of got those beautiful flowers. And the I just want to make sure I get the I'm looking. I want to make sure I get the right nut. I don't want to say hazelnut and pistachio. I had them right. I didn't want to say the wrong nut. So we have hazelnut and pistachio. So when you first saw, because unfortunately, guys, these guys don't have it in their hands yet. So we wanted to get these interviews out early so that you guys could ask some questions if you had them. But when you saw the PDF, what were you kind of excited about in seeing that?
Honestly, I lost my mind. Because it's like I accepted, I was like, sure, I'm going to teach. And I had no idea, what I'd be using, anything. And then when I got the PM, I'm looking at it right now. I went nuts. I was just like, this is the best ever. Love it. I was like, foliage, florals, fall color, pumpkins.
Yeah.
It's like the whole kit was made for me. And the colors. The ink colors. Yeah. Yeah.
They are, and they're just so beautiful. And that's the other thing I love is these inks work beautifully with the families. Like, so, we can pull it in and we get the question a lot. So our instructor is going to use items outside the kit. The answer is yes. However, what they're going to use, they're not going to pull in stamps and dies and all that stuff. They're going to pull in some extra ink colors, or they're going to pull in a die cutting machine because we have dies and embossing folders. So it should be things, scissors, foam tape, glue. It should be things that most crafters would have in their space. But beyond that, the other ink colors that we have in our families. And if you don't happen to have those, feel free to substitute whatever colors you have. So we don't want anybody to stress out, but the predominance, this kit is what they work with. So this is the main focus of what they pull for supplies out of there. Now, do you have a favorite out of the extras? Do you have a favorite out of the extras that are in there?
I forgot what even there was cardstock, which I was like, ooh.
Yes.
And the blending brushes, of course, because I've been slowly building my little, I have them right in front of me, my little, they're not all labeled and organized because, of course, Kathy did that. And I was like, of course you did. Of course yours are labeled.
Did you get the micros?
I've got a couple little micros. Yep.
Life-changing.
And I was like, ooh, I get more with the kit. I love them.
And that's what I love. And yeah, this cardstock hasn't been seen, you guys. So you guys are getting a sneak peek seeing this cardstock. Extra special to have that included in the kit. I also love that they have something similar to the format of a Craft Your Life kit. So you have that stamp, the die, the embossing folder, and the stencil. Like it all works together, or it can all work by itself.
Yeah,
too.
that pumpkin set, I was impressed. Because I was like, oh, it's one piece. Oh, yes. You do all of it at once, and then you die cut it all at once. And I was like, and my brain, we'll see if I end up doing it for the class, but I have an image saved. I would have to scroll back years, and it was a Starbucks pumpkin space latte, like advertising thing that I have kept for years to make a card inspired by it.
Oh my gosh. And this may be it.
Yep. We'll see.
It may be the moment.
We'll see. Because I was like, it's like, again, this whole kit was made for me.
It It was the perfect timing.
It
Yes.
was. It
I
was.
remembered you were a fall gal. I remembered you were a big fall. And like Maine, we have record-setting foliage here. I mean, people take tours to see our foliage. Like I can brag a little bit about it. But again, it's so short now, but it's so beautiful. And
It is.
I love fall. I don't like what comes after it, but I like fall.
I know, right? If fall could just last so much longer, yeah. I love the change of every season, but fall I think is definitely my favorite. And it doesn't last long enough. And I'm just like, where? But whatever. We'll keep crafting like fall projects start soon-ish with releases like on the main card making, etc. Halloween's coming soon.
You must be, yeah, Christmas must be sneaking up on you for designing, because, it's funny how far ahead things are. It's almost Christmas in July, essentially. It's usually August, September-ish, I think, that most we get hit with the holiday themed things. But yeah, so you're designing ahead. So you're always kind of a season ahead of us anyways, when you're designing.
Sort of. They the brands will show me the things that are coming out and I start kind of planning it in my head. But like I explained to you before we went live, I forget when I have product sitting here that I'm supposed to be working ahead on.
And then you stay up all night making projects.
Yeah. And then I'm just flying by the seat of my pants as usual. This will be interesting. Like I knew before I said yes. I was like, oh, I'll have to plan like a class ahead of time. I'm not just going to roll in and be like, hey, no, I was like, PDFs are required. I was like,
yes.
Okay, I will have it done ahead of time. We're good.
And that's the other thing about the supply question that we often get. There will be a supply list. There'll be a beautiful PDF for each class. And let's say Amy needs you to cut 2 panels that are 4 1/4 by 6.5 for some reason. We don't know what yet, but maybe she does. That she'll put in the homework section so ahead of time. Now, do you have any tips for like beginners that are coming into a retreat like this?
Honestly, if someone is like new, I would say just sit back and like enjoy it. Like I got to sit in on a couple of previous retreats. And the last one, I was right in the chat section, just being annoying like I always am. But so I got to feel like how, there's the PDFs, there's the Facebook group, so people can join there and chat and whatever. And yeah, it's all just so well done. That was the only thing that, like, when I was sitting in on those previous ones, I was like, man, I wish I had the kit in front of me right now too. Cause everyone's doing their thing and like following along. And it was just kind of seamless for the most part. But at the same time, if someone is new and, you get overwhelmed because it happens. Those of us that have been doing it forever, we forget, because it's just like, oh, you just blah, 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 and we're just going on. And they're like, what are you doing? So, but then the nice thing is, you can go back, it's live at the time and it feels almost like, oh, you're not moving fast enough. You're not getting it, but it's good. It's fine. Yeah. This isn't like, you're not being graded on this, we can go back later, reference, redo, have fun with it. And I would say just sit back and enjoy it. It was, even though I didn't have the stuff to make at the time, even for me, I was kind of multitasking while I was watching and, doing my actual work. But then I would just be sitting there and I was like, this is amazing. Seriously, what the heck? So even just for that, even if a person doesn't have the time at the time, like on the day of, you can come back to it later, sit down and watch it. I think it'll be fun for everyone. Like, it was a good time. I really enjoyed them. So I'm looking forward to this. Now I'm going to be on the other side of it. So
yes,
pressure's on.
You'll have the kit. Yes, you can. You can make the other cards too if you want.
Totally.
To go along and
I'm excited to see what everyone else comes up with.
I mean, Altenew is always amazing with their lineups, but I'm so excited for this lineup too. I've admitted it in the past, and I admitted on the podcast. I'm like Amy R. So she was my introduction to crafting, basically. So everybody has their introduction, and I know a lot were Jennifer McGuire. I found Jennifer after I found Amy. So Amy was my introduction, basically, to YouTube and all of this. So very, very, very exciting to see her there. It's, the young crafter in me is like there with the big, cheerleading sign cheering on. Very excited. So
love it. Love it.
But it is, and it's, like Amy said, if you are new, there are some folks that just come in because it's a super cool vibe. If you haven't been, like, there's a lot of chatting going on. People are joking in the chat. And so I think some people just kind of watch and hang out. And then they watch the videos later and make the cards. And again, the Facebook group, I hadn't even mentioned the Facebook group. You get into the Facebook group. It is fabulous. Everything goes in there. So the PDFs, the supply lists, all of that. The great thing about Facebook is that you can post your cards and the instructors get to see them.
So that's going to be fun. I'm excited for that.
Yes. That's like the best part, is when you see what you guys make. Because even I go in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys change like one thing, and it's like it's amazing what you guys create from the instructors. So you're going to leave with at least, like, let's say, in case somebody just does one card that's really in depth, you're going to leave with probably between 8 and 12 cards somewhere in there. But the ideas you're going to get are going to go so far. And then the Facebook group is going to multiply those even more. There's also an unboxing where so if you are team not peek in the kit when it comes and you leave it in the box, then that you can wait and we unbox it and we go through it together and we look at it all. I do that with you in the Facebook group. And then there's another 2 days that we will go through and we will actually practice using the supplies, so that when you go to class, you're like, oh, I know how to line this up. I put this stencil right here. I know where it goes. That'll help you too. If you're crafting along, it'll be less stressful because you'll have had a chance to come to the demo, have a little practice, because that's hard sometimes. I mean, do you still get flustered with the stencils sometimes because you're like, why won't you line up?
This is another admittance of me being an idiot. One of my first, a few months ago, Altenew little packages for the release, and I sat and of course I chose like the biggest, I think it was the poppy stamps, whichever one it was. And I was struggling with the stencils because there's like multiple things.
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to me to pull the insert out and open it up. I did it after, and I finished it and I was on all my stuff, and like hours after the fact. And then, I was like cleaning everything up and I opened it and I just sat there like winner, complete winner. It's all laid out, there's arrows and colors and all the things. Man. But like I always say to people, once you do anything once, whether it's like lining up a stencil, a die set, or just anything, just even from basic to intricate, once you do it once, it makes so much more sense. So, and I do that sometimes off camera. Like I'll take my little die cuts and I'll start layering it, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. My brain sees it, so I can just lay everything out and go for it. Or you look at the packaging, because Altenew has it. It's all there.
Yeah.
You just take it out and open it, and it's all there.
It's
and even got color suggestions too, which I really like.
That is helpful. That is definitely. Let's go. Since you brought up the C word, how do you come up with color inspiration and color combinations?
It depends on a bajillion things. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Depends on, sometimes I'll do like color challenges. Like I do the weekly color throwdown challenge, which is just for fun, open to everyone. And then other times it'll be, an image, or I'll see someone else's card and I'm like, I never would have thought to put those colors together. Or things like with Altenew and it's all laid out and I'll be like, okay, I like that. I'm not going to copy the packaging. So it's like, I'll swap out the blues for pink or whatever I'm fixating on currently. It's just like, oh, instead of bright greens, I'll use like toned down greens, things like that. I like to play with color.
Yeah.
And it's also just not a hindrance, but I gotta have it all, full set syndrome.
Yes.
But, and I always admire makers that they stick to their known, like what they prefer, like their wheelhouse, and they kind of stick to that, or they only have like 30 Copics or something. And I'm like, how do you live? Seriously. Like, I can't even use them until I own all.
Because the one you don't have is the one that you will
Every
use.
time. Every single time. Yeah. Every single time. Whether it's color or a stamp or just anything. I'm like, the minute I don't have it, I'm like, I need that in my life. I need it. I need it. But yeah, I love having all the colors, and yeah, I love just mixing it up because it's the ADHD too. I get bored. I get so bored of doing, I'll do a card in this color scheme. It's like, okay, done. On to the next one. Needs to be different colors. I'm bored of that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so post your cards, guys, because Amy's lurking for some colors. So you guys got to keep posting all of those cards. Yes, Charlene, the syndrome is real. The fear of missing out and the full set syndrome, total things for crafters, I think. I hear the fear of missing out all the time from crafters, and I also hear full set syndrome from crafters, because it always does seem the one you're like, oh, I don't need that. I have 7 greens. I'm good. And then you're doing a project and that's the green you need. It's that one green that would be perfect, and, create your perfect project. And then it's never going to feel complete because you didn't have that one green. So
right. Yeah. And I tell everyone all the time too. I was like, you don't need everything. No one does. You don't have to buy everything. I get it. I need it all.
Yes.
Like I need it. Like Altenew's inks, the minute I dip my toe into the fresh dye inks, and that was again many months ago. They've released many since, but I was like, I'm getting them all now. Like every single one. I've lost track. There's 120 colors at this point. There's a lot. Love them. And the more they keep releasing, I'll be like, add to cart. Well, that's what I need, every shade of everything all the time.
Teresa said the fear of forgetting to buy something. Maybe that's a thing. The fear of forgetting to buy something. That's a good. Yeah, and I think that's you made it right. It is a personal decision. Do you need all the things or not all the things? It's because I need all the things. I want to play. They're all pretty. I want to play with them all. They all need to be mine. I want to hug them. I love them all. You can't. It's like picking children when you have to pick a stamp set. It's just wrong.
I know. Everyone always asks, like, what's your favorite color? I'm like, all of them.
I have an answer that might work for you. I always say rainbow.
Yep.
Because it has them all. I'm like, rainbow is my favorite color. I'm not excluding anybody. I love it all. Love them all. Every single, even browns. I know people are so afraid of making brown. I like brown. Brown has a place. So
oh, it totally does. It's like, it's not something like, the Tim Holtz grunge, brown. But I was like, I use like browns and neutrals.
Yeah.
I use a lot. I prefer bright colors.
Yeah.
But my browns, my grays, everything. I was like, those, you need them. You need them literally. Because I was like, backgrounds, this, that, the other thing. I was like, branches. You need brown.
Yeah.
You need grays.
Oh, grays. I love gray. That's what, see, you mentioned a color. I'm like, oh, I love that color. So I can't pick the color. I'm like, I love that one too.
Right.
I do like Keisha has given us a new term. She said it's being a completist. That sounds so positive. I like that. We are completists. I like that. I think we.
Well, a lot of us, it's true though. Like, there's something about, and I say like, oh, I'm a professional curator with what I collect, because it's just like, oh, I'll also say I don't care. I hoard craft supplies. Like, I love it. I love getting my little orders in, and I flip through it, and then I'll like put it away. Whatever, but that's part of it too. It's like we collect them. People collect action figures and Lego and a million things.
You put stuff away.
Collect craft supplies.
You put stuff away,
dude. Sort of. They go from one container to another. The floor.
It finds a home someplace. I know. I am afraid one day A&E is going to come in and film an episode of Crafty Hoarders or something in here, but. It's filled with pretty things. So
truth. And I love to be organized. I was actually, for whatever I think it was on my main YouTube channel or something. And it was like my little bio. And I was like obsessive organizer. And I'm like, I used to say that in my head.
Okay, I was going to say, were you at some point?
I have years worth of crap I need to deal with. And I'm just like, the minute, and that's also when people get into like a crafty funk. Start organizing your stuff. You'll discover
Yes.
all the fun things. And that's every
Yes.
time. Every time I'm like, I need to organize. I
Yep.
get distracted less than 5 minutes in, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that stamp set. Oh, and then I go and start making again because I'm like, who wants to organize and clean? I'm just going to sit here and throw things on the floor. I don't care. I don't care. It's my space. Whatever.
I think what Charlene said, she has 3 hobbies: collecting, organizing, and creating. Love it. Love it. Love it. I think that's absolutely true as well.
Truth.
Eileen wants to know, to be a completist, do I have to finish the project? I think you just have to buy all the supplies. I don't know.
Depends on the project. That's why I love, like, that's one of the reasons I fell in love with card making, because I was like, I can start and then like make and finish in one sitting sometimes. Not as much anymore. But that felt so good because it's like anything else that I've, dabbled in, the knitting and crocheting and cross stitch and like all, like, those are hours, weeks, months, years of my life. I've lost track of how many started projects. I found my cross stitch. I have a Halloween cross stitch I started like 10 years ago.
Maybe this year.
Well, I put it in another drawer the other day when I was doing some organizing. I was like, yeah, I remember this. It's super cute too.
It's only July. Hey, maybe it'll happen.
And I think I pulled it out last year too, and I was like, I should work on this for Halloween. And I just never did. I'll get back to it, But it's time. I love it, but it is something you work on over and over, like over time. Whereas I'm like, you get that like dopamine hit. It's like I finished a card. Yeah, like I did something, I accomplished something, and then I can move on to the next thing.
Now, do you consider yourself like a fast card maker, or are you a slower card maker?
I'm fast. Yeah. More so because I say yes to everything. I have too much on my plate and too much content to pump out. So I'm like, slap on the water. I'm like, wah! But at the same time, I'm like, I use that to my advantage. I was like, if I can do it, anyone can. I'm not being, I love watching other makers that are so detailed, like they get in there and they'll add like depths and layers and all these things. And I love it. I might be watching their content on 2 times speed because I'm just like, I need to get going. But I also understand that the amount of time they put in, and I love it.
Like, for example, JC Gaspar. I mean,
oh,
seriously,
he does. I just sit there and I'm like,
you kind of drool a little, and you're like, wiping the drool away as you watch him.
Like the detail and the depth, and I'm just like, what? How? And I always appreciate, because I know I'm always like, the patience him and a lot of other makers have, because I was like, I know how much time went into that. Hats off. I love it. And I was like, we need you. Because whereas me, I'm just like, slap, throw on some splatter. I'm out the door. I'm done. I got a running pick on my kids, man. Like,
I'm in your school. As my aunt says, I'm on screech. I gotta go. I gotta get it. I gotta get the idea out, and I gotta get the next one percolating and going. And it's like a little processing plant. You gotta spit the cards out and just kind of go with them. Let me see. Oh, Terry says she still has an unfinished cross stitch for her daughter when she was born. She's 29. So you are in the right place. And I saw something that we are going to have. Somebody, I can't remember who said it. I'm trying to look. Joanne. She said, I think I'm going to have to join this retreat. You guys make it sound like so much fun. It is. It is one of the best things. I've been to everyone in one way or another, whether I've taught or I've been a moderator or a participant, been there at all of them. It's a super cool vibe that I can't explain. I've been to other events through other companies, through other things. And this one, just the vibe. It's the vibe. I can't put I don't know, because you've been to a couple and you were super active in the last one, which was awesome. Loved it.
The first one I was very like, I was terrified because I was like, can they see me? Because I had no idea, and I was just, so I was quiet. But then, once I understood, like, okay, this is how it works.
Yeah.
I was in there like a dirty shirt, just commenting, causing chaos, doing what I do.
It was fabulous.
But it was so fun, and seeing everyone. And I was telling someone that, because they were like, oh, I don't like Zoom things. And I was like, oh, dude, one, you don't have to turn your camera on. It's fine. Yep. But I was like, I loved seeing like everyone hanging out, making their things, all of it. You can be a little snoopy and you can see behind people, how
Yes.
they're organized, all that kind of stuff. And it was, I don't know, it was so the closest you can get to being with your people without actually being with them in person, which in some ways is probably even better because I like being with card making people. I'm not a people person in general. It's like, no, just no, don't hug me, don't look at me, just nah. But being with actual card makers, it was like, oh, you get my crazy.
Yes.
Like we get each other and it's such a different vibe. So then to like do these retreats and it's like, oh, there's all these people. We're all doing it at the same time, using the same things,
Yep.
participating, having like it was yeah, I loved it. Loved it.
And I think that's my favorite thing. I mean, and I'm so glad that virtual was born. And that we do have these because in Maine we had I think one scrapbooking store, and you're way out, right? So you didn't really
I'm
have
in the middle of the
access.
Saskatchewan prairies and yeah, we don't
Yeah,
have much of anything
no.
really.
And
Yeah.
so this was like my way, like virtual. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see other crafters and craft with them. So it's, and it is fun because you could do for folks that do you do not have to put your camera on, and everybody's muted, so nobody speaks. We just use the chat so that everybody can hear the instructor that way. But it's fun to see folks that do share their spaces. It's fun to be like, oh wow, that's a great organization method. And then the other thing is too, is that of course you have like the PDFs and you'll have like Amy will lay out everything she's doing, but there are going to be so many tips and tricks that are going to come out as she's crafting that she's not going to think to write down or put in the PDF. I think that's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts, because I have so many, is that all the tips and tricks you guys come up with, like just as you're crafting, because
Yeah.
it's just it's almost like sitting in and watching them craft, which is exciting, because you're watching what happens in their space. It's kind of like being there with them. Yeah, it's hard
Yeah, it's a
to describe.
different vibe then because like I do my lives,
Yeah.
but that's still different because
Yeah.
everyone like watching for most of the time they're not using what I'm using. Either they're watching for the sake of watching or they're doing their thing. It's all good. But this is like, oh, you have the exact same things that I have sitting in front of you
Yeah.
to do the exact same thing as I'm showing it. That makes it really fun because yeah, being able to like actually take classes. The last one I took was Create last year.
Yeah.
I sat in and took the classes and same thing. I was like, this is so fun. Like for me, I loved it. And the little, create it, take it, loved it because I just could sit down and I made something else that someone else told me what to do and I didn't
Yes.
have to think. And I was like, this is the best day ever. Love it.
And
So
this is that basically. It's
yeah,
where Amy says here, this is what we're making right now. Doesn't
yeah,
mean that's what you have to make later. You can make all kinds of things anytime you want with a kit.
exactly.
Uh,
I love it.
so much stuff in there. I mean, so much stuff in there. It's going to last you. But the great thing is Amy's done the thinking for you. So as well as our other 5 instructors, they thought this all out. You don't have to think. It's a day of no thinking. So it's very nice. It's very calming. Yes, and we should put this in the thing, like what does Jennifer call it? Loose pants or no
Oh
elastic
yeah,
pants
no
or
hard pants.
no hard pants. We got to have comfy. Yes, we highly recommend the dress code of pajamas. Absolutely. And the great thing is to say you're doing Amy's card and at the end you're like, it's just missing that one thing. You're in your craft space. So maybe you wanted black splatter instead of Amy used gold splatter. So you could go grab that. I mean, that's the great thing I think too, is you don't have to pack. You don't have to buy an airplane ticket, no hotel. You just walk into your space
Exactly.
and you're there. And that's great. And now we have a lunch break. We've built a lunch break into the day as well. So you guys can go hug and kiss the spouse, the dog, the kids, whoever, and grab some food. We encourage hydration. In the morning, we do encourage coffee, but water throughout the rest of the day for hydration. But
Yeah.
it just is so much. It's really so much fun. And so in there, and I saw you just did a video about this, so I'm excited to have you share with everybody. What do you think of the keyhole system on the flower dies?
I really like it. I remember when it first was introduced, I forget exactly when that happened. And I saw it online. I was like, okay, like makes sense. And then I've ordered some. Have I used them yet? No. I'll get to it. I'm collecting them, whatever. But then I finally did a video. So I was like, okay, I'm going to, and I started die cutting and it clicked because I was like, because again, my brain, it's like keyhole. And I just thought like just keyhole. And then I was like, what is this triangle? I don't, what? And I was like, they have different shapes so that exactly. Okay, it's all thought out and there's even numbers, 1, 2, 3. Oh, seriously. Again, I love it. I love someone else sat down and designed that whole thing, layered it up, thought it all out for me so that I just have to like slap it all together. And I'm like, dude, this is perfect. I love it. Like you can still be creative with it and like, shift things and do your thing. But especially some of them are extremely, I wouldn't say super intricate even, but there'll be a lot of pieces and parts. But again, it's like, oh, this one die cuts 4 pieces. They're all lined up. They're all numbered. And I'm like, so then you can still though, do your own thing and shift things around and whatever. But yeah, the more that I'm all for anything that takes the thinking out of it. Like especially when it comes to assembling things, I don't. I was like, dude, by the time I've done figuring it out, I'm done. I'm done. I was like, I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't want to make, and I was like, oh no, I still have to edit it. So I was like, oh, this is already thought. So all I have to do is add color.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Big fan.
And a lot of our dies are now actually, because we have like the bird of the mountain that has it. And so a lot of our dies that have layering are starting to adopt this system. We have new shapes. We have like a snowman and a letter B. I like the letter B. So we're getting more shapes as we go. Yes, Brenda. Yes, my lovely. That's why I brought it up. There is let me just hit so I get the correct name. The mix foliage layering die set has the keyhole system design. So there's the keyhole, there's some triangles, and our good old friend, the arrow, is back. The arrow is sometimes there and sometimes not. So yes, that will be in there. Yeah, and Adriana, I love them too. With the dies, the folders, the stencils. Oh my! I mean the layering stencils, because you've been around stencils for a while. We'll say it that way. So what do you think about this progression? Because we do have a really really fabulous. It's called Rolling Hills stencil in the kit that's layering. What do you think about these stencils and the transformation you've seen over the years?
Oh, I love them. Like when stencils first, they've been around in some form or another for many, many years, but way back, they weren't even plastic. They were metal.
Yeah.
And those were a whole beast, and we were like dry embossing with styluses and like piercing and doing that kind of stuff. Like, man, things have changed. And then the first stencils were just geometric, that sort of thing. And I remember when they were, just slowly taking a footing, and I was like, how am I supposed to, like, what am I supposed to do with this? Honestly, and then it took a while to start like figuring out. It was like, oh, this isn't like, you can get creative and use inks and pastes and then the layering stencil started coming in, and I was still kind of a little, because like using stencils and taping and all that, and I was like, why? It was just some days I was like, I don't have time for this. And then grit mats started coming out, and I was like, sold. Love it. Slap your cardstock down, stick your stencils, and it can have like 15 parts. I don't even care. I love it. I love it. It is, especially ones, any of them. I don't even care what they are, whether it's a one for a stamp set or an embossing folder or whatever, or a standalone.
Yeah.
There's something so therapeutic. It's like, again, any idiot can do this. Cause I was like, if I can sit here and I'm just like, with my blending brush, my brain is off somewhere else, but it's like, this is where you put brown. I was like, okay, whatever. And you peel it off. I'm like, I did that. I love it. Like, I really am enjoying the layering stencils. Like, yeah, you just don't have to think. Whereas like if I'm like watercolor, like I love all the things and doing all the things, but there's something about just stenciling. I was like, you stick the stencil down, you slap some ink on it, and then you call it a day. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Yes. That's why I love the 9x12 mat the best, is because like either if you're doing the craft a flower, you can do all the pieces, like you can stretch them out. You don't have to clean it, which, you know, why do we want to clean when we're crafting? Or, you know, if you have the bigger stencils, like the poppies that you mentioned, that beautiful 8.5x11 set, you can fit those stencils in your paper right on there and it holds it. Nothing moves. It's just fabulous. And then stamp wheel, if you're going to stamp a sentiment after, it's like, I don't know how we crafted before. It's so, you can be mindless now, really. You can go in, like you said, you can follow the guide and just do that. You don't even have to think of colors. I mean, they give you color suggestions. You don't have to think of colors.
Exactly. And for some, like for me as the content creator, you know, I have to put like a half to push myself, you know, to show something creative, whatever. But other times, even for me, I'm just like, no, I use the layering stencil set and I follow the, like, again, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like, here are the instructions. I'm just giving you a video for it. But it's nice because sometimes it's like you're sitting here looking at a multiple product suite, you know, stamp, stencil, die set, whatever. And then you're just like frozen, you know, trying to come up with ideas, everything. I was like, at the bare minimum, use it like it was intended. Stamp it, stencil it, use the colors they tell you to use. You got a couple of great cards out of it. And it took zero brain effort. Love it.
And usually too, at that point, a switch is starting to, the rollers are going, like the press is starting up, you know, after you do that.
Oh yeah, and I tell that to people in my and a lot of time for me, it's while I'm editing my videos, and I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, you could use this and do this thing and do this thing, and it's the same thing while I'm like, if I'm mindlessly stenciling, I'm like, oh, this would look really good in blue, or you know, and it's like the next step, and because I don't have time. Don't have time. So it's like, I'll just give those ideas while I'm, you know, doing my voiceover. I was like, do it with this, use this. Ooh, add some splatter, whatever. Love it. It's a great like jumping off point. And then I've watched some of the videos and it's like, you'll do like a completely different sort of color combo and blend colors together instead of just doing like the one layer, one color. It's like, oh, blend multiple colors. And I'm like, love it. Love it.
I love grabbing just random colors and being like, let's see where we go, you know, because you don't know. And again, it's only paper, you know, if you blend it and it's like a color you don't like, either A, make a card with it and you're like, I wouldn't do that again, but you might substitute this color for that color and you'd love it. So you got to try those. You got to just blindly grab some ink sometimes and see what happens. I've done that. I've closed my eyes and just randomly grabbed inks. Loved it. It came out perfect. We also have on our website, we have color combos. If you go and there's free resources and we've picked the colors for you that coordinate. So you can just go on there. We also have swatch guides, all of that stuff. So if you guys are looking for color combos to use with your kit and all that, Teresa asked, are they coming out with a 9x12 stamp wheel? So it won't be a 9x12 stamp wheel. It has been announced, so I'm not letting any secrets out. There is a stamp wheel 2.0 coming. I believe the center is 9x9. Please don't quote me on that. But the very cool thing is that one of the sides comes off, so you can do those.
It's got an open edge because I think that was the last retreat that Erin was showing it. Yes, because I was like, okay, and then she started showing like what it's supposed to do, and I was like, this is cool.
I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait. I'm ready. I actually played with the prototype and I can tell you it's fantastic. So it was that damn
especially because Altenew keeps coming out with these just ginormous stamps and I love them. But I was like, this is gonna get interesting. And then seeing this new stamp wheel, I was like, oh yep.
And Barb, we got to get you getting that stamp wheel. Maybe the retreat will be the time that you get the stamp wheel out of the box. It is, once you open it, you will not go back. I can promise that, because it's stenciling. I do some of my watercolor on there. My paper doesn't seem to warp as bad because it's stuck down. It's great for ink blending. Your ink cubes don't move, your stencil doesn't move, your paper doesn't move. It's really, and stamping. I mean, stamping. And there are wonderful free classes at Altenew if you'd like to go check some of those out. There are some paid classes as well, but go check out the classes if you want to check out more about the stamp wheel. But please take it out of the box. What about you, Amy? What about the stamp wheel for you?
As you literally say that, have I taken it out of the box yet? Dude, I'm the worst.
You and Barb will have to take it out of the box together.
I have literally, like, I've opened it, and then I like opened it, and I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Because I had ordered this, I forget when. It's been a while, and then I literally put the foam back in. I will be playing with it. I will be. You know, and part of it too, it's like, it's so pristine, and I know it's not going to last. And I am my worst. That's why I tell everyone, do as I say, not as I do.
Yes.
Like, stuff gets stained. It's fine. But I was just like, the packaging is so pretty.
It is. It is hard that first time. The first time it's hard to use it. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's so clear. It's so crisp. It's so beautiful.
Oh, it is. I was like, it's just shiny, and it's still got like a protective layer on it.
Charlene said, girl, open it. It's so good.
Oh, I know. That's the worst about it. It's like, I know, but I've had it sitting here, and it's just been like looking at me for literally, I bought it a couple months ago, and I even bought the little, what was this one? I think the grid plate. Like, I got all the things. Oh yeah, yes. the square grid flip plate. I've got that still in the book.
You'll love the square grid too. It's awesome for sentiments, anything like that. The radial one, I mean, they both work fabulous. I don't do a lot of wreath building. I want to, because like I see the beautiful wreaths that like Simon and JC create, and I'm like, oh, I should make a wreath. But I do love that square. That's my favorite. The square grid. That's my favorite. It's my
that really pushed me. I think that's what finally pushed me over the edge, because I'm just, because I'm used to that. Like, my work surface is great. Like, everything is just a grid, even though I'm getting old and my eyes are getting old, and I need, but at the same time, that's part of it. I was like, I need those grids.
Yes.
I need it.
It's good. It's nice because you always want your sentiment straight. I mean, that's the last piece that you're putting on. So I'm just wondering if you guys have any questions. We have a few more minutes. If you have any questions for Amy, again, October the 12th, and it's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We have 6 amazing instructors. These are recorded. We try really, really hard to get them up the next day, even though it's a Sunday. We try really hard to get them up, but at the latest they will be up by that following Monday. The PDFs, you get the supply lists, you get to keep those. The Facebook group stays open to share the inspiration. You get to interact with the instructors there. You get to show them your projects. And if you have a question, say, it's a few weeks after the retreat and you've made Amy's card and you're like, Amy, I can't get something to look right. I can't get it to look. I want it to look like this. She can give you some feedback and say, well, try this. Maybe it's this, XYZ. And again, the unboxing we do together. And I mean, everything in the kit is amazing. There's cardstock that's never been seen before, which is very exciting. And as well, these products are at this point exclusive to the kit. So you can't get these. You can't go on in November and order this online. The cardstock will be available, but the supplies and the blending brushes, so the consumables, but the stamp sets, the die set, the embossing folder, that stuff is exclusive to this kit for now. Will it be released in the future? I don't know. And that's, you never know if it will. So it's taking a chance. So you want to make sure if you see something in there and you're just in love, which, I mean, there's so many things to look and see and fall in love with. Make sure to sign up. It is a very beautiful box. And I think the great thing too is that, like those pumpkins, I mean, what can you think of for techniques off the top of your heads for an outline stamp? We'll put you on the spot.
Oh, for outline, I was just like, heat embossing. You can watercolor.
Yeah.
You can watercolor with those inks. I will have a video coming. I'll have a video coming for this new release soon. Because, anyway, One of them for sure, because one card is done. Because I can't remember if I've actually done it. I knew you could watercolor with the fresh dye inks.
Yeah.
Because they're water reactive. But that's what I did. And I was just like, oh.
So maybe we'll see some of that. You never know.
Maybe, So yeah, like those I was like, and then there's the stencil and there's the embossing folder. I was just like, you can make them dimensional. The stencil makes it just easy, but yeah, we could definitely stamp those pumpkins. I'm just staring at that set. I was like, there's so many. I love it. So many shapes and sizes. I don't know why. I just fall stuff. I'm already ready for fall. I'm sweating.
Yes.
I'm sweating.
I want to cut those pumpkins apart. I was like, oh, I could cut them apart and put a couple in a corner and I could, but I love that they can be a background too. Just stamp it. They're a background. You have that one die, cut it. I mean, anytime there's one die, it's sign me up. Like I'm happy to be there. I love our satin masking tape. Literally, it's next to me. However, if I don't have to use it on 75 dies, I'm a happy girl. I love the one go, the one pass, line it up once, no thinking. Anything there's no thinking.
Exactly. Especially because that was, all the little leaves tucked in there.
Yes.
The fact that, you don't have to take, I don't mind doing it either, but if I can just slap one die down, die cut and have 50 pieces.
Yeah.
Because I can edit that out of videos, but I still have to sit there and do it and line up every die and tape it into place. And I'm just rethinking my life decisions while I'm doing it.
And then not throw them away or lose them when you're moving them back from the paper to the packaging as well. That's my, I need security guards or something when I do that.
I still have a random little leaf die sitting here. Yeah, I still have it. I kind of no, but it's been knock things over.
I have a bowl of missing.
Yep. And I'm so annoyed.
They're missing
I tried really hard at least to keep wafer dies more than anything else. I lost my watercolor paper. I talked about that in a recent video. Still can't find it. One of the many, but my package of pre-cut, still haven't found it. But dies, I try to keep them right back in the packaging because especially nowadays, I see that a lot on, the Facebook groups and stuff, and people post, and I've done it, posted an image, took a photo of this one wafer die. I was like, does anybody know? Because someone might, and usually someone does. They're like, oh, that's for this set. And I'm like, thank you. Especially those of us that have 5 million stamp and die sets. I'm like,
yeah,
I couldn't tell you where this came from. So yeah. But this one random little leaf die. I'm like, darn it.
Oh, Pam likes that we have junk bowls as well, so that way you can't. I call it the lost tribe because they're a group together in themselves, but they're lost. They need homes. Will I ever 100%. Find their home? Probably not. But I'm hopeful, and I keep the bowls.
Exactly, because the minute you get rid of anything, I don't necessarily usually have a bowl, but there'll be certain little random things, and I'll hold on to it because the minute you get rid of it, finally. Yeah, it's literally the next day. It was like, oh, I could have used that. Or you find the thing it's supposed to go with, or whatever. So that's also why I don't fully clean up and organize because you're gonna need that. I don't know. We justify it, whether it's
always can justify. Yes, absolutely can always justify.
Oh my goodness.
What does a day look like for you? We know not the morning person, so morning's out. So what does a day look like for you?
My days are literally chaos. I have been chasing this whole idea of being more regimented, sort of maybe I can work a normal 9 to 5. How I'm not even getting the minute I try and do something like that, my life completely explodes. I get a phone call from a teacher that a kid is puking, or just something crazy, or literal car accidents, just crazy things. So I just kind of just go with the flow. Yeah. Depends on the day, depends on the thing. And then I have complete brain dead moments where, I've had a package of new products for an upcoming release sitting here for a month, and I'm emailing poor Keisha going where is it? You guys didn't send it to me. And she's just, I'm sorry, Keisha. I'm an idiot. I really am. So I literally fly by the seat of my pants. Like, get up, deal with everything, do things. Sometimes I'll like, yeah, mornings, I need a while. I need a while for my brain to just wake up and not be so miserable. Because
Yes.
I don't know, I am just not a cheerful person first thing in the morning. Like
Yes.
the rare time someone is, dumb enough to call me in the morning, and they like, "Are you feeling okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine. It's just, it is early." And they're like, "It's 10 a.m." And I'm like, "And?" Like, "I'm sorry,
So
like, I'm like, call me after noon and I'm fine."
and I think
But
once you're a fly by the seat of your pants kind of gal, it sticks. As much as you try to hone it and bring it, you can bring it down a little. You can calm the flight down a little,
yep.
but I don't think you can ever stop flying. I think you have
No,
to fly.
I don't know why I continue to fight it and question myself, like, and I procrastinate, I do. I am last minute and late with absolutely everything, apologizing all the time, and I was like, "I've been like this since I was a child." Like, my entire high school career was me writing my essays at 3 in the morning that I was supposed to hand in, like, either the night before or the day of, and then I'm always writing excuses like, "My dog ate the first draft," that I never did because I did it. I don't know, I have this idea in my head that I need to be, like, more professional, and
So
I
is there
roll in here at whatever time in my pajamas more often than not, fling
yes.
on all the lights, and I just do my thing.
You have to be comfy. You have to be comfy, I think, to create. It just yeah, at least I do.
Oh, 100%. The
I,
rare times I wear, like, going out clothes, which almost never happens, but, I'll get home, I'll come in here, try and get some work done, I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, things are digging in, and I'm just
awkward.
no, yeah, and I'm like, "Why?" And I'm just like, go upstairs, put on the sweatpants, pajamas, whatever, and I'm like, "Okay, life is better."
So, oh yes, and yes, can win, but first coffee. Absolutely, always. So is
Mhm.
that the award you would get then? Is that the award that your friends would give you?
That I'm just chaotic
Just
and fly by the
chaotic
seat.
or being late? One or the other.
Yeah. On I would get an award for if I managed to, like, be professional and not put my foot in my mouth, I think I would deserve all the awards. Like, just give me the Oscar, thank you. I deserve this because.
We'll give you the crafty. I don't know if it's a thing, but we'll give you the crafty. We'll make it up. We'll make one. We'll give the crafty award, the
Yeah.
crafty.
Yeah, it's like Amy didn't, drop an F-bomb. I'm pretty decent with like doing lives like this, everything, I think, and that always makes me laugh when people like either meet me in real life or like really talk to me and I'll get these looks and I'm like, dude, yeah, I swear like a trooper. I am like that, and that's also why I don't do much live crafting on my own end. I can voice it over, I can silence it all out because when that things get stuck or I've literally got my hair caught in my heat tool or just other things. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's how I don't usually leave my hair down when I'm heat
Oh,
embossing because there's an air intake at the one end and
yes, there is.
it's happened. It's happened.
Yes, yes, there is. That's not yes, I can't imagine. That's not good. Just
Nope.
keep it
Nope.
up or stay away from the dye machine. Especially if you have an electronic one. We'll have Amy's
Yep.
hair going through
Oh
the
yeah. And that's also why I'm always like trying to get through to people. I was like, like heat tool, like they are a fire hazard. Like as always, I was like, do as I say. Because I literally know what I'm talking about, man. And yeah, same with like die cut machines. I was like, those things can like smush fingers. Like,
yes.
use caution. I may fly by the seat of my pants, but I'm also very, very aware of where the sharp objects are and the things that generate heat and,
Where you're
people, yeah.
flying. Yes.
Yeah.
What small action puts a smile on your face?
Just someone thinking of me. Whether it's like, yeah, someone will send me like a stupid meme or, but they know that it's like, I have a friend that'll send me one that are friends memes because it's like that's our show or like things like that. And I'm just like, yep. Or snacks. The unpaid intern came in here last night because I was working on those projects that I need to get done. And yeah, he came in here with some ice cream and I was just like, Snacks
Favorite human.
always. Like, even as simple as, like, putting it in a bowl for me that I was just like, "Oh, thank you." I was in here dying. I was dying, working so hard. Yeah.
Like, I was dying.
Yeah, I was just, like, just slaving away. We call it the salt mine in here. I was just like, "Back to the salt mine." Yeah.
Well, you might get cooked where it's summer, so, you know.
Oh, yeah. The way it is right this week, like, it really is.
And what do you like most about yourself?
About myself, I think, and I don't wanna say, like, my thick skin, but at the same time, it's like I have definitely developed that thick-skinnedness
Yeah.
of, and I'm not even talking specific about, like, trolls and hater stuff. I don't really care. But I think, and part of it is just not thinking too much of myself. It's like, man, like, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And I'm not gonna take myself too seriously. Like, and it's not, and I say this multiple times. I make cards on the internet. Like, it's not rocket science. It's not, but at the same time, I say that with the knowledge that I got into this and it literally changed my life.
Yes.
It's just having a hobby that I enjoy so much, even before like creating it as a job and all the things. And yeah, I think, and yeah, no, actually, that's my most favorite thing is I'm able to roll with it. I'm a drama queen. I can admit it. I'm a drama queen, fly by the seat of my pants, all the things. But you can literally throw chaos at me. I will freak out about it, probably cry a lot. I will pivot though. I will immediately pivot and I will deal with it. I'm good at that.
That's a good skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
what's that? Refocusing or I can't think of the word.
It's like, give me, I would rather not have the chaos and the drama, really.
Yeah.
But it just seems to get handed to me on a platter more like most often. And yeah, it's like, I just need to have a good cry about it, maybe vent, scream, swear a whole lot. And then I just, pivot, deal with it, overcome it, whatever. And yeah.
I just learned crying supposedly releases endorphins, which is good. So when I read that, I was like, oh, that's like exercise. So I can cry instead of exercise and still get the same endorphins.
Truth. I cry over everything. I forget. I think I was talking about this during a live like a while ago, but it's like I don't watch commercials anymore or anything because we're all online.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, like something random, like a commercial, and I'll be sitting here just sobbing. And Chris will walk in, and he's like, and then he's getting worried because he thinks like something really bad happened. And I'm like, little baby on the commercial, and I'm like just sobbing. Like, but then I get it out of my system, and I'm like, I feel so much better. And then I just go.
I used to watch movies. My husband would be like, "Why do you do this to yourself?" And I'm like, "Because I feel better after."
Yep.
Not now, but later I'll feel really good.
Exactly. Oh yeah, like movies for kids, and they'll have like Bambi. Like, good lord, I will sit there and I'm just like sobbing. Yeah, like, yeah. Oh yeah, but then you feel better. You feel so much better. So I was like, let it out.
Yes, get it all out. It's good. It's cleansing. Pam had 2 questions. One, so Amy answered in the beginning. If you missed it, she's been doing this like 20-ish years. We didn't want to do math. But how long has it been that you went full-time creator? That's been quite a bit now, right? It's like
full time.
Yeah.
Full time. It's been about 9 years.
I was gonna, my guess was 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was already at that point. I was kind of like, I was doing a lot. Like it was mostly my main, but after my ridiculous, insane divorce, and I'm single mom of 4 kids, I had a moment, and it's like burned in my brain because I remember it because I was doing those Periscope lives because we were all like on Periscope and like talking about whatever random crap. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I'm gonna give it 3 months. I was like, I had looked over all my financials and how I'm gonna raise these kids and everything I was doing. And I was just like, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give it my all for 3 months. And then if this doesn't work, I'm like, you guys will hardly ever see me because I got to go like get a job at McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
And so then I just gave it my all. And It worked.
Yay! We're so glad you did. We're so glad you did. It's fabulous.
And then yeah, no, for me though, and because like I always tell people, I was like, don't quit your day job. There's space for everybody. 100%. Yep. I was like, people can get into card making if you want to do content creation, videos, like whatever your thing is. Yep. There's definitely space for everyone, but don't quit your day job, please. Just especially if you have benefits like insurance and all those things, retirement. If you get to the point where it's a choice, because it's like, hey, I'm making enough and one has to give, great. That's wonderful. Just because I've literally had people over the years like, I want to quit my job and do what you do. And I'm just like, no, stop, please don't. No. Because I was like, that is the other side of the coin with being a content creator. I was like, I don't have a retirement fund or health insurance. It's not fun. Yeah. But same thing though. You start figuring it out after a while. But yeah, it's been a long time.
I had thought, because I was like remembering back, I'm like, I think it's about 10. That was my guess. So I was pretty close. Yay! On my Amy R trivia. Woohoo!
And those, I call it like the before times. It was like before the wars, after the wars. I was like, those are because like people, have like been following me from a long. I was like, oh, you knew me from the before times. Crazy.
I remember you from nails. When you did nails, like the first videos with ribbons, lots of ribbons. I remember all those. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and my little gel nails that I used to get requests all the time too to like do nail tutorials.
And you're like, no. I remember that too. So many people.
And same thing. Man, I was ahead of my time with those. All the art I used to do on nails and my own nails. And now that's like man, you guys, I was doing that 15 years ago.
You set the trend. You just didn't know it.
I'm so annoyed. Like the stuff people do now. And I'm like, I used to have to fight with my clients. I was like, they want, just the white French, which I get. But I was like, have you seen the wall of glitter behind me? I had hundreds. I had same thing. It was the same thing. I had every type of glitter you could possibly imagine. All the colors, all the things. And I hated it when people asked for white French tip. I'm like, fine.
Be boring. Fine.
Yeah, I didn't. And I broke my own rule too. I never charged for art because I was just like, I would much rather sit there and do creative play. I would hand paint designs on people's nails. Like, I was like, I'll do this for I don't care. I was like, you don't let me do my thing. And yeah, I gave that up though because I couldn't run a salon with toddlers and a toddler and newborn 2 other girls.
That was, that talk about chaos.
Oh yeah. Literally, I was working out of my house and it was, yeah. I miss it and I don't miss it. Like I much prefer doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, now everyone posts all their fabulous nail art and I'm like, man, I need to like reach out to all my old clients and tell every single one, I'm like, you guys suck. Like I was so ahead of the game.
Just remind him, I did this first.
Yes, and I didn't charge you extra for it either. I was, oh man.
I was the bestest.
Yes. Oh, good times.
And we've kept you a little long, but I know that Amy has prepared for this question because she watched Kathy the other day. So she has one question she has studied for and she is prepared. So I feel really bad if I don't ask it because she has prepared for it.
Do you think I've actually prepared though?
I will give you a few more seconds. I'll do the rundown. October 12th, 9 to 9. 6 amazing instructors. We have Amy R., Kathy Zilski, Jennifer McGuire, Christina Werner, Carissa Weiler, JC Gaspar. These are all recorded. They're yours forever. You can go in, watch them 20 years from now. You can make Amy's cardigan if you'd like to. You get PDFs, you get supply lists, you get gorgeous inspiration photos, lots of fun in the Facebook group. That's another whole fun part that comes with it. And then you get the big event, the main event on October 12th, again, 9 to 9. And so we would love to see you there and love to have you join us. So make sure there are pictures of the kit. You can close up. I mean, I used to stock the Altenew web. I still do a little bit. And I blow the pictures up and I look at it and take, you got to know I'm very investigative about my craft supplies.
I do the same thing. Anytime, like when I get the PR, I'm just like zooming in and
yes.
I'm like looking at it. And I'm like,
I could do this or I could do
and I keep them open. I have a million tabs open, but a lot of them are the Altenew like release PDFs, and I flip through them constantly, and then I kick myself. I was like, why didn't I choose that? Yep.
So you've had a few extra seconds while I did the rundown. So here we go. What would you take in your crafty to-go bag? 7 supplies. What would they be?
Oh man. Preheat embossed images.
Ah, like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would get, and I've actually done that and then never did anything with them. But
Yeah,
I would preheat emboss a whole bunch of images, probably florals, all florals, or better press them because Altenew's press plates.
And they foil too. Just throwing it out. They foil beautifully.
Oh, they do. That's the next step on my project anyway. But yeah, preheat embossed images on watercolor paper. Watercolor brushes.
Nice.
Probably then I would also bring the Altenew's watercolor palette. I love that little palette. Because then I could just sit and watercolor.
Which one's your favorite? The 36, the 24?
Yeah. It's under, I would get it, but I would probably end up like unplugging something. So we'll just, But yeah, the one with all the little cubes of colors.
Yeah.
I got that whenever they released that, how many years ago? Gosh, it's been so many years. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah. So yeah, I would use that and those, and
so you're at 4.
I'm trying to be like super realistic because it's like, I would bring, like, I would have a train case, the old huge trunks, because you need a die cut machine and a better press and glimmer hot. I'm trying as realistic as possible. So yeah, I would do that. Honestly, I could probably get away with just that.
Wow. We may have to ask now, what were your 4? Amy Rysavy did it in 4. We may have to start asking.
But yeah, because if I actually had to really narrow it down, I was asking myself that the other day, not about this specific question, but it was like, maybe I should like narrow down how many like coloring methods I own.
No.
I thought about it for about 30 seconds and then I was like, dude, like nobody's forcing me to. I can keep whatever I want. I like having options.
Options are good. Yes.
And yeah, like I haven't gone on a real crafty retreat in, gosh, almost 2 decades. And I would pack my vehicle full.
Yeah.
Because it's like die cut machine. I used to have and I forget the brand name, but those like wood units with all the shallow drawers. I would literally wrap those in saran wrap and put them in the back of my vehicle. I'm not even kidding. Hundreds of pounds. Like I brought my entire craft room with me to a retreat because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to need.
Oh, wow. I'd never heard
back to that. And I was like, back then I was driving like an SUV. Literally like, and then I would set it all up next to me. I would have it. And this was before we had like hot foil, better press, all the things. I can't even imagine if I had access to that stuff back then. Oh, I would have had to bring like a U-Haul.
Now she needs, yes. If you see a long haul trucker with craft supplies, Amy is somewhere near it.
Yeah, Amy's heading somewhere, and just because you never know. That's what I love about these retreats, because I'm like, I'm sitting right here. I have everything at my fingertips. Because anytime anyone asks, like, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite this? I was like,
all of it.
Stop it. Don't ask me, because I was like, I like having options. And if a new option comes out, it's going in my cart.
Yes.
And I'm just going to bring it home to me. And and everyone's like, which one's better? I'm like, it has nothing to do with better. I was like, it's just this one's maybe more matte or just a slight shade difference. Yeah. Like, I have more die cut machines than I know what to do with. Did I order a couple new ones because they came in a purple color from Spellbinders? Maybe.
Did I order the purple and the pink and the white one? Maybe, because they all exist, so why not? But yes, and I think that's the thing to remember is at the heart, we're all crafters. When it boils down, we're all crafters. We're just like everybody else out there. We see something, we're like, oh, I can make this with that. And we still do that. We all do that, and it's all we want all the things as well.
So. Oh yeah, it was Joe Sisavith posted a card with that new Peonies layering stencil set that's part of the July release, and I saw that and I was like, I didn't choose that stencil. It's in my cart. It's in my cart. you know?
Adds to cart. Adds to cart. Yes. The 3 favorite words of a crafter: adds to cart.
Mhm.
Well, thank you.
That's half the hobby on it is the shopping
It
and then
is
the obsessive tracking,
the
like
enabling, the
mhm,
stalking the mail. Yeah,
yep,
yeah. And they make it so easy now with like the shop app where it shows you where it is, and the mail sends you an email every day. Hey, here's what's coming today. Surprise. So it's really easy to stock back in the day we really had to work for it. Now it's just at your fingertips. It's so much easier now to stock your packages. So
it is, and I literally obsess about it.
yes.
It's like, I don't know, it's like that's literally half the fun is I like refresh and I was like, "Ooh, it's crossed the border." And then I can start like I can do math on that because it's like, "Oh, if it's here, it's gonna take X number of like days, and I can like predict when it's supposed to
And then you have to open it and pet all the things and smell the stamps
and then
and
you
put it
forget
back in
about
the
it.
box. And yes. And then put it back in the box, and then yeah.
Yep,
And
then
then
you
a
forget
new
about it.
box
Then you
comes.
discover it underneath a bunch of things, and it's like, "Wow, like, who knew?"
It's a surprise.
Yeah,
It's
it
a good
is. It's
thing.
like, "Wow."
About being a crafty hoarder. It's all a surprise. You get
Yep.
surprised numerous times.
Yep. That's why I tell Chris anytime he comes in here, because if he's talking to me, he'll start like picking up things. And I was like,
It's organized.
yeah. I was like, it just don't move it from where it's supposed to be. And then I blame him for anything that goes missing, but it's my fault.
It's all there. That's the good thing. The crafty
It is.
knows.
It's all here somewhere. That watercolor paper has eluded me for a good like month now. And I know I'm gonna find it in the dumbest place.
It
Like,
always is.
last time I found it, like, stuck into, like, a dye package or something, and I was like, "What were you" and obviously, my brain was just gone, and I was just, "Doop," and then put
Well, hopefully by October, you will find the watercolor paper and the
well,
crafty
I
knowing
have my
skills.
Altenew watercolor
Well,
paper, that I keep separate.
oh,
So,
good.
we're good. We're good on that. I've
We're
been
all
using it. Yep. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the extra time today with all the questions that we had. We're so excited and can't wait to see you at the retreat. It's going to be here before you know it. It seems like it's so far away, but I think it's going to sneak up on us. Time's going pretty quick here. So.
It did feel far away originally. When
And
Aaron
then
first reached out to me, I was like, "Oh, that's, like, forever away," and now I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be here, like, tomorrow."
it's soon, yeah. Especially because you'll get your kit and you'll be testing soon, and all of that. So it'll be very exciting. So we have to send Amy all the good vibes and all of our other instructors and all the crafty vibes there. So
Yes.
thank you so much for joining us. And Keisha, thank you for hanging in a little extra behind the badge. Sorry to keep you all a little bit later, but very excited to have the chat with Amy. Thank you all for your questions and comments and just having a wonderful chat with us today. We always love when you guys come and have a wonderful chat with the instructors. I enjoy it, and Keisha does as well behind the badge. So thank you so much. And from all of us at Altenew, we thank you so much for allowing us to help you craft your life. And we'll see you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.